In today's video we look at this Facebook Marketplace pickup that I got for only £175. We'll be taking a look over all the parts which I actually got for that, and then I'll be revealing at the end of the video what my plans are in order to make a full PC build, so stay tuned. So basically, on a random Tuesday I just saw this post which was amazing really, and I saw it within the first sort of half an hour or so I did get really lucky, and I basically just drove down there straight away and thought this is an absolute bargain, we've got to pick it up. And I did really well, I think. So let's have a little overview of what we have. I'll talk about all the parts and we'll go from there. So first off, obviously, is this Corsair 4000D case, which actually has 4 RGB fans integrated into it as well as the iCUE little control at the back as well. And they're all Corsair fans as well. I think they're only the more cheaper ones, not like the more premium ones. This is ideal for high-end sort of builds, or sort of mid to high-end builds, I would say. And it's a really great start. And really, on its own, this case is probably worth about £80 to maybe £90. Obviously, it's used, so there is actually quite a lot of dust in it and what have you, so I will have to obviously dust it all out, but it's a good start. So we have a power supply, which I'll just show you here as well. Now obviously this isn't a full complete build, there is a graphics card missing and an SSD. So we actually have a Corsair RM750 power supply. Obviously that's a really good power supply. I mean, that's like top end really in terms of power supply. This is probably about £90 unit, maybe £100 unit on its own, which is really great. So again, just in the case and power supply, we've already got our money back basically, and that's before we got onto the other parts. So again, I really do think this is an absolute steal of a deal. With the power supply, we actually don't have the PCIe cables, which is a bit unfortunate. We actually have all the other cables, but he actually removed the PCIe cables for the graphics card. But you can get replacements, I've seen, for £20 on Amazon. One 8-pin and another 8-pin in 2 separate cables. And that's about £20, so I will go with that. But I'm pretty sure it's the type, it accepts the Type 3 and the Type 4 in this power supply, but I will just double check that, and if anyone wants to put it in the comment just to make sure that I do get the correct cables. Obviously, sometimes if you get the wrong cables of power supply, you can obviously blow up your PC, so obviously we don't want to do that, but I'm pretty sure I have got the right cables in the listing that I saw on Amazon, and I will buy those separately, so that's really great. And obviously, as you can see there in the back, we actually do have the iCUE little controller as well there. Don't know if you can quite see that fully, but it is there, and that actually controls the 4 RGB fans, so obviously that'll be really good. Now some people don't like the whole iCUE software and what have you, and I do understand that. I do have my frustrations with that as well, but you know, Corsair, the actual hardware, I do think is very good, and you can actually, I think you can use the software on your motherboard as well if you don't want to use the iCUE software, but if I'm wrong, obviously put that in the comments below. So now we're kind of getting into the real meat of the actual components that we've got here. So the motherboard is a Gigabyte B550 Aorus Elite AX version 2, which, yeah, I mean, that is pretty mid to high-end motherboard, that is. So you've got the onboard Wi-Fi, AX Wi-Fi, so Wi-Fi 6 compatible, 2 M.2 slots, which is obviously really good, both with heat sinks as well. So I think the first slot will take Gen 4 drives, but obviously the second slot won't take it will only be Gen 3 speeds. Do have the sort of armor plate for the actual PCIe bracket, the PCIe slot for your graphics card, and we do have a integrated I/O shield, which is actually really good as well, so that won't get lost if I obviously do take that out of the case, which I'm pretty sure I am actually going to remove all these components and then actually clean the case out, and then obviously we'll put new components in, but again I'll reveal that right at the end of the video. So moving on to the main event, I think with this computer, we have the Ryzen 5 5600X. That is still a really good modern day CPU. It's still perfect for mid-range to even slightly high builds as well. Now yes, at the top end you probably do want a 5800X3D to get the real kind of high-end graphics cards in there, but I'd say anything up to probably like a 4070 Ti would be perfectly fine with a CPU. So yeah, I think we've done really well there, and obviously going back to the motherboard probably is about a £100 motherboard on its own. So we're probably up to about £300 there. The CPU is probably getting on for about £125, maybe even pushing a little bit more. So we're getting into the kind of like 400, 450 sort of region in terms of the actual value of the actual components that we've got, and we've only obviously paid 175, so we've got an absolute deal here. We do have this Cooler Master 212 CPU cooler, but I do think I'll swap that out and put an ARGB cooler just to add in that little bling, because I've seen like a really cheap one for Thermalright, and I think it's only about £20 or so, £21, £22. So I think that will look really good in there, and I will swap that out. And I do think I will, like I say, take out the motherboard as well, and then do a complete clean of the case, and then reinstall everything. And then just to complete it off, we have 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistics RAM, clocked at 3600 megahertz. So that in itself is probably about 40 to maybe even £50 in terms of resale value. So I reckon we've probably got about 450, maybe even a little bit more of potential parts here for only £175 paid, which I think we've really got a real bargain here. I'll try and get you a little bit more of a close-up of the shot there. So, as I said, there are one or two little things where I'm going to have to sort out. I'm going to have to, potentially, I think what I'm going to do is put a 550 watt power supply in here. And this is obviously now the big reveal. My sort of plan for this build will be to put a RTX 3060 Ti in here, which I'm really buzzing to look forward to and getting that down. So that'll be really good. And obviously make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, please, because you know things aren't quite going where I want them with this channel, but I really do want to build this channel, and I can only build this channel with your support, guys. So please obviously like this video and subscribe. Obviously if you want to see more and more content which is going to be more towards PC gaming, as I said, a 3060 Ti in this build I think will be perfect to round it all off. And then I'll put a 1TB NVMe drive as well for the storage, and I think I probably will have about £500 in it all together. I think I've spent about 250 on the 3060 and about £40 on the 1TB NVMe drive, and about £20 for the CPU cooler. So I'll have just about £500 invested into this, and then we'll try and flip it for about 750, maybe even 700. And I do think with a Ryzen 5 5600X and a 3060 Ti in this build, with this obviously really awesome 4000D Corsair case, and obviously the 4 RGB bling fans, which are really going to make that sort of really look good, I do think we'll have a really nice build here, and I think it will sell very quick. Certainly around the 750 to even maybe £700 mark. I think we are going to have quite an easy flip here with not really too much hassle at all. So as I said, guys, if you can really like and obviously comment, what do you think? You know, do you think I've got a real bargain here? Because I certainly think I've got a real bargain here. And yes, there's a little bit of work that I'm going to have to do to make it up to fully resale value, but that shouldn't be too much work really, given what it is. And it is a really nice PC. There is a real good base of a PC here that I can use, so I'm really happy with this. So we've got so much more planned for this channel. I've also got another build which I'm actually kind of in the middle of getting all the parts down for now, and that's going to be a Ryzen 5 4500 with the GTX 1070 again, because I'm able to, I had a really good bargain again, which I've kind of had some really good bargains recently. I got a 1070 for only £95, so again, that's going to be an absolute bargain, and that's going to be another budget build, but that'll be a more cheaper build, probably around like the sort of around 450 mark, probably again, I would say. Please obviously like the video, subscribe, let me know what you think down in the comments. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, guys. See you guys, bye.